Projects up there, Eureka Bridge, the FEMA project, all the concrete's poured. Grading needs to be finished up at the bridge approaches. The grading back away from the bridge on both sides was done early, but to fill that gap between the last, I'm going to say 25 feet, has not been done. So with the weather the way it is now, I'm not sure we're going to be able to get that finished up this year and open. Same way at Viola 1, all the concrete is poured. They had been doing grading work on the west side of the bridge, but with this weather, it's probably brought that to a halt too. That bare ground freezes pretty deep, and I'm not sure we're going to get a warm enough period of time to get it so we can do more dirt work. Wall Lake Bridges, the North Bridge, they finished driving the North Pier pile, North abutment pile yesterday. They've got the North Pier pile driven and the concrete encasements done. I was telling Dean that we had a 70-foot pile on the North Pier, North abutment, and they didn't get bearings, so we had to add on and had to drive about another, I haven't looked at the report yet, but I think basically about another 10 feet to get bearing. So we got to order a few more piling because they stole some from the south side to add on to get bearing on the north side. South Bridge, just in review, I guess, Giberson, the contract was let with the provision in the documents that they could not close both bridges and work on both bridges at the same time because the access had to be maintained for Hallett's and the city of Wall Lake, Pittman, and the landowners to get to their properties. Giberson talked to Hallett's and they got Hallett's approval, and then they proposed to me that Giberson would install a temporary bridge down there just on the west side of that south bridge, and that would be available for Hallett's and any other landowner in the city that needed to get between the two bridges to have access. And so we sent a change order out to Giberson earlier this week with that would allow them to do that, and at no cost, no additional cost on the construction contract. And so they've built the temporary bridge. I think they've got the south bridge pretty well removed. They're getting close to having it done. So they'll be working on both of those bridges at the same time. With that, they should get all the piling work done this winter. Their false work in, bridge deck forming done, so that as soon as we get some nice weather in the spring, they'll be able to pour the concrete and get the bridges done. Again, they'll have to wait till it thaws out in the spring so they can do the dirt work that's needed down there, and then they'll probably the biggest thing that'll slow them down in the spring is pouring the concrete on those two sections. They'll have to pour one, wait till it cures out, and then possibly pour the other one. But anyway,
I'm not sure I understand that. I mean, the whole deck, they'll pour one.
No, when they get to pouring the pavement, like on each bridge, there's about, on the north one it gets pretty long because it goes clear up there. With that bridge being 3.5 feet longer, I think there's probably 400 or 500 foot of pavement on the north side of the bridge that's going to be replaced, and then there's
in between the two,
300 foot south of that bridge, north bridge, that needs replaced, and then on the south one it won't be near as long because that's only going up a little less than a foot, so there won't be as much paving needs to come
on
up.
the north bridge on the north side. How many feet of new paving would be from the north to the edge? Like 250 feet?
I was thinking it was closer to 500. I can look.
What's the concern of this temporary with restriction of water? I mean, is there any, if we get high water in the spring, is there?
It'll run over.
Yeah,
Is that what happened?
well, and it's, that south, and that's why they chose to put it on the south bridge, because the south bridge, the water don't get near as high as it does on that north one. I would say,
It's a bigger watershed, but it doesn't flow like the north one, not even close.
in the south channel's wider, I think, and got more capacity in it. Typically, the water hadn't been up to, well, some of the storms, it's been up against the bottom steel on that bridge, which is probably 3 foot below road level. But on the west side of that bridge, I don't know who took all the dirt out, but on the south side, there was no levee left. I mean, I don't know whether Pittman took all that dirt out of there or who, but right now, the water coming through that south bridge would get to the west side of that bridge, and it could just spread all over the place. Well, spread everything south of the stream, because the north levee bank was still there.
But it doesn't, because the railroad would never let it get by. I mean, it's never topped the railroad.
No.
So, for a variety of reasons. We got flood control on the north side.
I mean, like Dean said, if the water does get that high, it'll go past the new bridge. If the temporary bridge is restricting it, it'll just run out sort of in the field around it.
Okay, that
Really, it's a good deal for them. You know, it cuts down on their cost. Anytime they build a runaround, they did that, like on that bridge on the westward hand side, they put a pipe in it. You know, it's a advantage to the contractor.
Yeah.
And if they got a change order and be able to work on both of them at the same time, I'd look at it as a positive for the contractor. But from a safety, the sooner they can wrap that project up.
Oh, sure.
The number of people are using that gravel road, a mile east of Wall Lake.
Well, yeah, it's a huge benefit for the town of Wall Lake. The quicker they get it done, the less inconvenience I have, so.
I was a little long. The north side, it's probably about 400 from the center of the bridge to where the new pavement will go north of the north bridge, and about about 300 foot south. The south one, I know it's not near that far. But they'll pour one, well, they've got their paving equipment there, and that would depend a little bit too whether they've still got their temporary, if they've still got the temporary crossing in and it's still usable. They might be able to pour both of those basically at almost at the same time. Because once they get their paving equipment in there, they'll want them doing both while they've got the equipment there. To the south one, they'll replace the paving clear up to the north right away of the railroad, and then they'll go north from the end of the bridge. It looks like it's going to be about 150 feet roughly. But anyway, it will speed the whole process up because they'll have all their channel work done, this winter. So even if the water, if they get high water next spring, they'll be up above it working, and so it won't delay them that way. So I would think, there's a possibility they could have the road back open, end of May type, possibly.
That'd be good.
Rather than stretching. I mean,
Do you want to tell the mayor that tomorrow night?
he should know, because,
We're joking.
well, I tried to make sure the city was aware of what was going on, so if they had any concerns about this, that, they had a chance to say, no, we don't want to do that. I mean, I couldn't see why they wouldn't, but I wanted to make sure, it's their project, so.
But anything that accelerates it, as long as it's not a quality
Yeah.
consideration, that's to their advantage.
Well, again, I just wanted to make sure I did send the information to council, and council approved the idea, so.
It's their project, but when it's convenient, they kind of say it's our project.
When it's convenient.
I can live with that.
Yeah, I imagine all the complaints they're getting, they're blaming us for the detours and all that.